You will not believe what the skies above West Africa are being told to carry. A single short clip has set off an online avalanche and pushed a quiet corner of the Sahel into the spotlight. The claim is dramatic and immediate. A modern Pakistani-built fighter jet has been seen in Burkina Faso, and a deal between Islamabad and Ouagadougou has suddenly become the talk of social media. What would it mean if a leader who remade his country's foreign policy in under 3 years secured frontline combat aircraft from a distant manufacturer? In this video we will walk through every angle. We will examine the evidence being shared online, separate verified facts from rumor, explain the technical and logistical realities of transferring fighter jets, and explore the political ripple effects across the Sahel and beyond. If you care about how weapons, politics, and information collide across continents, stay with me until the end because the truth is more complicated than the headlines. First, a bit of context about the man at the center of this story. He is a young military officer who rose to rule during turbulent times. Since taking power, he moved quickly to recast his country's alliances, pushing out some old partners and cultivating new ones. His government has prioritized security projects and has been open to unconventional partnerships. That background matters because it helps explain why sudden reports about new military equipment draw so much attention. They are not just about hardware, they are about a larger shift in who a country chooses to trust and work with. Now, what exactly is the aircraft people are talking about? The jet at the center of the chatter is a modern, light multirole fighter developed jointly by a Chinese manufacturer and a Pakistani production partner. It was designed to be affordable, adaptable, and exportable. The platform has been refined for decades, with newer blocks offering improved radar, avionics, and weapons integration. The aircraft has become a visible symbol for one exporting country's efforts to build an indigenous defense industry and sell that capability abroad. Those technical facts matter because they shape how attractive the jet is for countries with limited budgets but pressing security needs. So how did this story explode? Online accounts shared short videos and clips that claimed the jet was seen on the tarmac or heard over the skies. Those clips spread quickly, picked up by reaction channels and social pages, and then amplified through reposts and shares. The rapid circulation created the impression that a formal military transfer had taken place. At the same time, professional observers pushed back, warning that viral clips are often edited, misattributed, or deliberately used to create narratives. In short, there are striking images circulating, and there are serious questions about their origin. Treat the raw clips as leads, not as confirmed deliveries. How plausible is a formal transfer of such jets to a country in this region? On a purely technical level, exporting light multi-role fighters is feasible. The exporting country has recently struck large contracts with other buyers and has displayed the aircraft at international air shows, showing both production capacity and export ambitions. But producing aircraft is only part of the story. An operational transfer requires trained pilots, ground crews, spare parts, ordnance, secure supply chains for engines and avionics, training programs, logistics for maintenance, and a political willingness to assume the diplomatic consequences. For a receiving country to absorb advanced fighters, it must build or upgrade air bases, air traffic control, fuel and ordnance depots, and training pipelines. None of those steps happen overnight. Let us imagine several realistic explanations for the footage and the claims. One possibility is that a single aircraft visited on a diplomatic or demonstration flight, perhaps as a short-term goodwill gesture. A second possibility is that an export sale or gift did occur but in a limited form, such as the transfer of a demonstration aircraft that would kick off a longer program of training and logistics assistance. A third and less benign possibility is that the footage is misidentified, repurposed from another country's airshow, or even produced with editing tools to create the appearance of a transfer that never happened. All of these explanations match patterns we have seen before when videos and claims go viral about military hardware. If a real transfer is underway, what would be the strategic consequences? For the receiving country, acquiring modern fighters would be a major boost to prestige and could be used by the leadership to signal strength domestically and regionally. It would change how insurgent groups and their backers view the balance of power, at least in the short term. Regionally, neighbors would watch closely and could respond by seeking their own upgrades or by deepening security partnerships with outside powers. Internationally, an acquisition like this would draw scrutiny from major capitals concerned about stability, escalation, and the flow of advanced weapons into fragile environments. The optics alone would shift headlines and could influence diplomatic pressure, sanctions risk, or offers of alternative security assistance. Those are the strategic stakes behind what looks like a single dramatic clip. We also have to consider motive. Why might the exporting country entertain such a relationship? Exported fighters can be a lucrative source of revenue, strong proof points for a defense industry, and a diplomatic tool for building influence. The buyer benefits by signaling sovereignty and capability. For the receiving leader, any military acquisition is as much political theater as it is defense planning. A gifted or purchased fighter can be used to shore up popular support, to draw attention to a leader's ability to secure international partnerships, and to create a narrative of independence from former allies. That is why observers watch both the hardware and the story behind it. How should responsible journalists and informed creators approach this material? First, treat viral clips as unverified until confirmed by independent reporting or official statements from the governments involved. Second, triangulate with reputable outlets, satellite imagery, defense ministry announcements, and recognized fact-check organizations before presenting a transfer as settled fact. Third, when making videos for public audiences, clearly label unverified claims and explain on-screen which pieces of evidence are confirmed and which remain open. Transparency builds credibility, and it reduces the risk of amplifying disinformation. What are the practical obstacles if a transfer really happened? Fighter jets operate on complicated supply chains. Engines often require specific spare parts and specialized maintenance. Weapons and missile integration require secure channels and careful certification to ensure safety and reliability. Training a pilot to become mission-ready takes months of flight hours and simulator time. Ground crews need certification to service radar, avionics, hydraulics, and ejection systems. If these supporting pieces are missing, an isolated aircraft can become a symbolic trophy rather than an operational asset. That is why most credible export deals come with multi-year packages covering training, spares, and logistics. At this point you might be wondering, so what is the most likely reality here? Based on the pattern of evidence, the safest reading is that there are unverified images and claims circulating widely, but there is no authoritative, independent confirmation from major international news agencies or from the governments involved that a full fleet has been transferred. Viral material raises important questions and deserves scrutiny, but it does not alone establish a formal arms transfer. We must therefore keep an open mind while demanding verification. If you are producing a video on this topic, here are specific suggestions to keep your reporting strong and defensible. Present the viral clips, but clearly label them as unverified. Lay out the possible scenarios and explain why each is plausible or unlikely. Show viewers the official statements if and when they appear and cite them clearly. Include short interviews or quotes from recognized regional analysts when possible. Avoid sensational claims that cannot be corroborated. And finally, provide your audience with a short follow-up plan, promise to update the description and pinned comment with new evidence, and invite viewers to share verifiable sources in the comments. That approach will help your channel build trust and keep the conversation grounded. Now let us look at the human implications. Military hardware does not operate in a vacuum. For citizens living under a fragile security situation, the presence of modern jets can mean harsher campaigns against insurgents, but it can also increase the risk of mistakes that harm civilians. The moral duty of those reporting on these topics is to balance the geopolitical analysis with sensitivity to how military operations actually affect ordinary lives. When you make your video, Give a moment to the people who live where these decisions will be used in practice. That balance will make your reporting stronger and more humane. Before we close, a quick summary. There are striking clips and loud claims about modern jets being in West African skies. The aircraft in question is real and it has been exported to some nations, and the exporting country has recently stepped up its defense exports. Yet there is an important gap between viral images and verifiable, fully documented arms transfers. Responsible reporting requires that gap to be bridged with confirmed statements and reliable evidence. Until that happens, treat the story as evolving and avoid turning speculation into the narrative. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think is more likely? A symbolic single jet visit that became propaganda, a limited gift that will be the start of a longer program, or a manipulated clip designed to inflame opinion? Which angle do you want me to investigate next? The logistics of operating a modern fighter in the Sahel, the diplomatic fallout for the main players, or a deep dive into how viral military clips are verified? Tell me which path you want and share any insights you have, and I will take a close look. If this video helped you make sense of a confusing story, please support the channel by hitting subscribe and turning on notifications so you do not miss updates. If you found the analysis useful, give the video a like and leave a comment with what sources I should check next. Share the video with someone who follows world affairs and wants balanced reporting. I will be reading the comments and I will respond where I can. Thank you for watching, and remember, every dramatic clip online deserves calm verification before it becomes the story we all repeat.